Hey, church family, I wanted to take this opportunity to present you with another word of encouragement as we continue to watch the end times unfolding right before our very eyes. Now, according to the data from Johns Hopkins University Center, there were close to 2 million COVID-related deaths throughout the world in 2020. And while I realize that there's still some question about these numbers, knowing that, there's a difference between those who died from COVID and those who died with COVID, the fact still remains that the death toll, which has been caused by COVID, it's tragic. It's a complete tragedy, and our hearts are all broken. And while I'm certain that we're all mourning the tragic loss of life that has plagued the entire world over this past year, we should take a moment to consider another plague which has claimed more lives than COVID-19. Now, if I were to ask you, what was the leading cause of death here on the planet Earth back in 2019, you would probably guess heart disease or maybe cancer or possibly gun violence. If so, you'd be wrong. During 2019, the leading cause of death here on planet Earth was abortion. It was abortion. According to one study published in The Lancet, there were 73 million abortions performed in 2019. And according to their estimates, abortion accounted for 57% of deaths worldwide in 2019. Now think about that for a moment. The leading cause of death throughout the world in 2019 was caused by a procedure which was completely unnecessary and avoidable by a simple choice. By a simple choice, these deaths could have been avoided. Now, I realize that the pro-choice advocates will be quick to insist that, abortion is necessary, when the pregnancy is placing the life of the mother at risk. And yet the fact of the matter is that abortion is never medically necessary to save a mother's life. Listen, this isn't just my opinion. This was the conclusion made by 30,000 physicians whose research was published in an article that can be found in the Public Discourse Journal. I'm going to drop a link to that article in the description of this video. But according to this group of medical experts, there are several facts that lead them to conclude that it is never necessary to intentionally kill a fetal human being to save a woman's life. Now, in this article, the authors insist that pregnancy is not a disease, and therefore deliberately killing the unborn child by abortion is not healthcare. It's not healthcare. They call it healthcare, but it's not healthcare. They call it family planning, but it's not family planning. They also point out another intriguing fact by stating this. In cases where the mother's life actually is in danger in the latter half of pregnancy, there is not time for an abortion. We can and do save the life of the mother through delivery of an intact infant in a hospital where both mother and her newborn can receive the care that they need. Then they say this: there is no medical reason to intentionally kill that fetal human being. This isn't just my opinion. This is the research of the medical experts. And as we consider this data, which was presented back in 2019 by 30,000 physicians who are practicing according to the Hippocratic Oath, the 73 million abortions performed in 2019, they weren't performed for the purpose of saving the life of the mother. And so then why? Why is it that abortion is the leading cause of death in the world? Well, according to a study conducted by a nonprofit organization called the Guttmacher Institute, they revealed that 74% of post-abortive women admitted that they couldn't afford to care for their child and that a baby would interfere with their education or their employment. 48% confessed that they just didn't want to be a single mother or that they were having relational problems with the father. And nearly 4 in 10 women said that, they were done having children, and so they just didn't want this next child. Just to sum it all up, 73 million babies were aborted back in 2019, not to save the life of the mother, but simply because the mother didn't want their life disrupted or disturbed by an unplanned pregnancy. And while I don't have data on abortions from 2020, what I can assure you is that the total number of aborted babies last year far exceeds the number of deaths caused by COVID-19. Now think about that for a moment. As we continue moving forward into 2021, more people are going to die this year from an unnecessary procedure than from COVID-19. And listen, all of these aborted babies won't have a choice in the matter. They won't have a choice in the matter. No, instead, this decision is going to be forced upon them by their mother. Now, I realize that most of these women, they don't actually think that they're killing their baby. No, instead, they've been convinced, by those in the abortion industry, that the child in utero is nothing more than a clump of cells. And most of us have been duped by those who assure us that, the fetus in the womb isn't actually a person yet. And so it's not killing, it's not murder. And yet I would appeal back to the 30,000 medical professionals who tell us otherwise. Here's how they put it in the article that I recently referenced. In this article, they declare it is an undisputed scientific fact that a distinct living human being exists in the womb of a pregnant mother. They go on to say this: from the moment of fertilization, a human being meets all of the scientific criteria for a living organism and is completely distinct from his mother, not a part of his mother's body. This is a scientific fact, they say. This is a scientific fact. Christian, listen, those who assure us that the child in utero is just a clump of cells, they're lying to us. They're lying to us. And we would do well to help those in our sphere of influence to realize that those who truly embrace science, well, we're also going to reject the barbaric practice of abortion, because abortion ends the life of a living baby. Not only that, but we should also warn people about the holy God who hates the hands of those who shed innocent blood. And knowing that the Lord is the avenger of those who sacrifice their unborn babies upon the altar of convenience, well, we have to take the time to encourage every post-abortive woman to repent and receive by faith the free gift of forgiveness that the Lord graciously purchased with his blood when he died in our place on the cross. And knowing that the enemy of our soul is here to steal and to kill and to destroy every life, I encourage you, Christian, let's continue preaching the cross of Christ so that we can fight the good fight of faith, all for the glory of God.